just came to play for the money. On 7 good ponies and some damn good swing. So get your team together, get fired up. So I can have a chop at you at the Inverell Swan Cup.
Hi everyone, welcome to the 17th Swan Cup video podcast. My name is Alex Wrobel from the Inverell Polocrosse Club, and we're looking forward to the 2021 Inverell Swan Cup. Our nominations closed a couple of weeks ago. We're going to share some of the details with you, and the Swan Cup will run from the 9th to the 11th of July 2021. I'm here with our club member Cody Woodward. How you going, Cody?
Good, mate. How you going?
Yeah, pretty good. And our special guest this week is Mark Barton from Nutrien Equine. How you going, Mark?
Yeah, really well, mate. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, excellent. Glad to have you back. And people out there might be wondering a little bit why we haven't had a podcast in a little while. Our main man, Cameron Neville, he's gone and hurt himself. He's fallen off his horse and broken his leg, or his horse fell and landed on his leg and broke it. I think I prefer the first one. But since then, he's had some other complications since having surgery, and we wish him all the best and hope that he has a speedy recovery and that he's on the mend before the Swan Cup is upon us. We've also had a bit of a change of venue. Our event is going to be held at the Inverell Polocrosse Grounds. The grounds are 10 kilometres west of Inverell, out towards the more east side, and it's 160 Eddie Park Lane. Rob Roy is the address of where everything is. Mark, did you want to have a bit of a chat about the horses and how many we've got for the sale? We're pretty happy at our end with how many we got, but you want to go into a bit of detail for us?
Yeah, look, I guess when we looked at what you guys were after, like it's about a platform, and we said if we can get around 40 horses to start, which is about where we're at. There's a good lineup of horses, genetics. Without going into the details, those genetics are being catalogued at the moment. A lot of proven sires that are represented in the catalogue. I know you've got a lot of some really well-known studs that are there supporting the sale. But around 40, I think, is a really good platform to start. It fits into your program, and I think it starts. We'll have that catalogue up online over the next couple of weeks, where people will start to upload photos and videos and start to show with these, particularly some of these young horses, where they're at.
Yeah, and we've had a little bit of a change to the program. We've shortened our event slightly, and instead of starting on the Thursday like we'd planned, we've shortened it up to start on the Friday, on the 9th of July. We're going to finish up on the Sunday. But what it's meant for us is it's opened up that we can offer a pre-work to all of our vendors. How important do you see that little change, Mark?
Look, I think where people can make an informed decision, I think that's really important. You've got 40 horses. Generally, we try and give a horse, whether it's on cattle or in dry work, or in this case, whether they're on a racket and a ball, and show where they're up to. I think you give a horse a couple of minutes or a minute and a half even to show their wares. I think for that hour and a half, people will go and tick a horse they haven't seen. Then they'll go and take more time to go and look at those attributes that they're looking for in a horse. And I think it's about people having confidence and informed decisions. And I think that's I think it's a must. If you're going to have a sale, you've got to give it its own time slot rather than while something else is going on. And I think your program, it caters for that it's an important part of the whole weekend, not just an add-on.
Yeah, definitely. And Cody, you're in a team yourself competing. How do you see the weekend travelling, and what are you looking forward to?
Mate, I'm really excited for it all, just having a game. And I'm going to have to buy a horse because I'm not selling one, so I can participate the year after. I'm going to have to get the old checkbook out, which the wife's not real happy about, but it's got to be done, I think. So we're going through the catalogue pretty heavily as soon as it comes out and trying to find a bit of a bargain, but also something that's going to be ready to play next year.
Yeah. And I think having that pre-work, it allows you that time to go through, and you'll probably earmark, 4 or 5 that you like the look of when you see them early, and you'll go to that pre-work situation and you'll go, all right, okay, I'm I'm going to narrow it down. I'm definitely going to have a go at these 2 because they're the 2 that I like going around out of those ones that you earmarked.
And like we said before, you look at a young horse that's got the ability. If you've got a good foundation, then you can start to get to know the horse. And I think it's what's important. I think with all these things, it's about the longevity of the horse after these incentives are out there. And I think for Polocrosse to actually embrace it, I think it's a really good way of people actually look to maybe try a horse that they haven't tried before, but upgrade genetics. And I think we've seen that in performance horses everywhere, where people have had access to different bloodlines, or rather than just their own. They're saying, hang on, that crosses well with my breed of horse, and I'm actually getting a different feel. And I think we're improving as I guess the element of competition anywhere. The sport and the industry is really going to improve on the back of it.
Mm. And I've noticed too that we've managed to draw a few vendors in who breed horses that wouldn't necessarily sell specifically to the Polocrosse market. And I'm excited to see how those horses go when they come back for our incentives in the future, to see, there might be another avenue that people start going down and following some of those bloodlines that may not be in that sort of target market for Polocrosse at the moment. So that's an exciting thing for me as well, to see how they go.
I think if you look at any family that's in, camp drafting or Polocrosse for that matter, it's not the horse you're in on competition at that moment. It's the truckload behind them that actually make your sport actually function. So that's where I come from in the camp drafting world. You've got to have that next horse coming through, and I think that's where this market has a lot of opportunity for breeders of horses to understand it too. Those people that are maybe new to it, that have popped a couple of horses in, understand what is the competitor looking for, and what are the attributes that we need to target. I know when we had cutting horse breeders that started bringing horses to the camp draft market and said, well, why aren't the buyers buying these ones? Well, what are they looking for? What are the things, physical attributes, or the mind of the horse, or the characteristics? And I think Polocrosse the same. There's an assumption, but you don't know until you've actually tried your breed what is it that might be a positive, or what might we have to improve on, or how do we select a horse that's actually best suited to that type of market.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got a huge range of horses that have been catalogued. They vary in age quite a bit, and we've even managed to attract a stallion to our sale as well, which is, to me, was pretty exciting. I didn't think it was something that we'd be looking at in our first year or so, but it's something that's coming along to the sale, and it looks to be a good mix of mares and geldings as well. It's sort of that half in the sale, which is opens up to a lot of people. I know myself, geldings are easy to deal with. I've only got a small block. They're easy to manage. You don't have to worry about too much. I'm not looking at breeding, so a gelding in my mind suits me. Cody has bred a few horses in the past. He's got a few mares, and that's something he looks towards. And so we've got a fair bit that's there for the market as well.
And I think what's good, you guys have managed to cater for that colt. I know your rules don't allow them to be competed, so you've catered for that, which I think it is a real positive, that you can showcase young colts, because it's obviously the decisions you make, you really rely on the competition of the progeny to make that breeding decision. But a good gelding, I know with our classic competition, we spent a lot of time trying to increase the incentives around geldings, because a lot of breeders keep their mares to breed from, and often the best horse on the truck's the gelding that they've let go to somewhere else. And I think that's a great opportunity to cater for both the people who want that residual value of that mare after they've competed, and if you can get performance on a mare, it certainly makes them more valuable.
Yeah, definitely. Like Cody, do you want to talk about yourself? You've already said that you'd be looking to buy something. Are you thinking short term of grabbing a gelding? Are you thinking, I might go long term and look for a mare? Think about future breeding. What are your thoughts on that?
Mate, I only had a bit of a look through, and you flicked the list through me this afternoon, And as I was going through, one that stood out to me was one that Cody Law had bred, and only just because it's a full sister to my dad's good horse at the minute, and I'd be looking at jumping on into the 4-year-old mare. I haven't seen the horse go at all, but it's something I'd be looking to get my hands on, I'd say, only as the size dead. And my good horses by this horse also. So I'd be looking, I think it was lot 27, I think. I really like the look of it. And I was just flicking through, Joe Walmsley had a nice young mare, read well. I'm not sure what lot it was, but it was by their sire. They only I think it was the first crop I think I read there somewhere. Just flicking through a few of the geldings too, if you were looking to just jump straight on something. There was a few, I think Dartbrook had a few good horses that had played a fair bit, and there was a handful of others there that obviously played a fair bit that you could just step straight onto and play top level polocrosse, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed, we've got a range from 2-year-olds right up to a 16-year-old going through the sale. And, there's the varying, I suppose, work that's gone into some of them. Some of them are just the 2-year-old that have done the basics, had a racket and ball on, looking at doing something, to, like you said, those ones, that have been played, had a couple of seasons out there. So huge varying ability as far as where they go. And, it depends if you're looking to buy a horse to compete in the incentives and maybe, come back for the couple of years of incentives and then turn over, or whether you're planning something for your future as to what you're going to buy and how you're going to use the horse. And I suppose
that's exactly right, mate.
Yeah. And
that's exactly right. Like there's so much variety in the horses. You've got horses there, like you said, that are 16 years old that are probably more suited towards, like, if you're looking to buy your junior horse or something, then there's 2-year-old horses in there that are sort of looking for your long-term projects. And you, like you said, your mares that you want to hang on to and get bloodlines that are hard to get hold of, or you're playing your geldings that you just want to step on and play tomorrow and try and win the money. It's all what it is. There's a horse for everyone, really, and you'd only hope that they'd all sell. Like,
yeah, that's right.
And I think even your numbers, it looks a lot of these incentives that you guys have been brave enough to start. You've got a small start, and it works well. Like I say, the cross section of horses allows a broad range of people to get involved. But our first start was 129 horses in Tamworth, and now 4 years later, we're knocking back over 1,000 entries. So I think this has the potential, and I think that the sport, like I think it's something that as an industry we don't celebrate enough. It's an Australian iconic sport. It's played in a lot of regional areas. There's a lot of these bigger team sports, cricket, footy, rugby league, rugby union. It's hard for people to find the time, but we find horse sports are a good way for people to still have connection and contact. And I think for some of these people that maybe haven't tried the sport, either this generation or at all, there's a horse there that can get them started. And those ones that like to start one their own way, I think those young horses allow you to. A good mate of mine says it's always good to bugger up a horse your own way if you get them young enough. So I think that's what's interesting, and I'm sure that there's plenty of interest out there. Not just for this event. I think there's the genetics, like you talk about Cody and Natalie Law's breed. They sell horses at Toowoomba and Tamworth with us, and whether it's a stock horse nationals or a camp draft or polocrosse, there's genetics there that are very versatile. So I think that's what's good to see, a really good cornerstone of horses in this catalogue.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, and we not only that, we've managed to draw in 8 really well-rated teams for our competition. We've managed, within those 8 teams, we've managed to get all 4 of the men that competed in the 2019 World Cup are all competing in teams. 2 of them are in one team and the others are in separate teams. But we've got a huge event that we're hoping to put together, hoping people will come and turn up to. Hoping it'll be a great family day out. We've got free entry, into our event, free camping at our event. No one has to pay to get into those things, and we're hoping that draws people in and gets them really excited about the horses as much as we are, I suppose. That they can turn up, they can watch some polocrosse, they can watch some horses go around in the pre-works, and then turn up on Sunday, and that they might even buy themselves a horse that they can turn around and compete in the following year. And that's the hope that we've been working towards for nearly 2 years now, Mark, that we've been working with you trying to get this around. So
COVID gave us a good slowdown, I guess, but with the numbers and I think we've got that tidy number. They'll be catalogued over this next few days. So from there on, people will be able to see that online. I would say before the end of next week. We'll be then talking to vendors, get those photos up to us so that there's a good 6 weeks out that we're getting video and photos. And like you say, get to the event, enjoy the weekend, but then we will stop your actual Polocrosse Carnival to actually focus on these horses so people have time to see them work and make an informed decision. And it's I think it's if you're not a Polocrosse person, there's still horses there to go and have a look at. And if you haven't gone and seen a carnival with the quality of teams that you're talking about, I think it'll be a lot of fun just to be there and be part of the weekend.
I think outside of our nationals is probably our pinnacle event here in Australia beyond the World Cup, and I think outside of our nationals and outside of maybe like an interstate series that Warwick hold every year, I think outside of those two events, it's rare that you get this many high quality players turning up, showcasing their horses. And not only that, there's a fair chunk of these guys that are turning up in these teams that are also bringing horses to sell at this competition, that have their family bloodlines that have been playing for a number of years. And they put all that time into breeding these horses specifically for our sport. So I'm really looking forward to that and really excited by it.
No, and likewise for us. And I guess the other question, if people aren't familiar with how to, if you can't get to there for the weekend and you do want to look at horses, we can organise an appointment, go and see the vendors. Any vendor with a horse for sale, I'm sure they'll be happy to have you on farm, visit, have a look, take the time to get to know the horse properly. Talk to one of us if you can't be there and you want to bid on over the phone. We'll have staff there that can handle that. And it's our job is to create an environment where people are comfortable, informed, and can make good decisions. But no, it'll be a great weekend, and I think we'll look back on this in 3 and 4 or 5 years and say, look, we started with an idea that took 2 years with COVID to get off the ground, and we'll really enjoy where we can take it. It'll be really exciting.
And I think too, what you were just saying there, Mark, with buyers wanting to, if they want to get hold of yourself or your team to organise phone bidding, I think that'll be helped because we've got our live stream that's going to be happening. They're going to be live streaming all the games, live streaming the pre-works, and live streaming the sale as well. So people will be aware of when those things are happening. They'll know what lot numbers and things we're getting close to. And if they're after a specific horse, they'll be able to get in contact with your team and make sure that they don't miss out on their opportunity to have a go at some of these great horses that we've got lined up.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Cody, did you have anything else you wanted to say before we were all done?
No, mate, I think you covered it all pretty well. I'm just pretty excited for the event. It's good to see everyone travelling for it as well. Like horses from the middle of Queensland all the way down to Victoria coming up for it. It's good to see, and hopefully it just grows, I think. Yeah,
definitely. So, Mark, thanks for coming on board and catching up with us once again for our podcast.
No, my pleasure, mate. We'll get a bit more out there, like over this next week. We'll share in social media some links so people can get just one click straight into the catalogue, and that online catalogue, it's easy to get through. And like I say, the vendors, they'll start getting plenty of info over this next fortnight, I'm sure. So it'll start to get busier, and we look forward to any inquiry we can get.
Yeah, excellent. And Cody, thanks for coming on board for your first podcast with us. And thanks very much appreciated.
Thanks, mate.
So just a reminder before we go, our event will run from the 9th to the 11th of July 2021, and we're really looking forward to seeing you all here at our Inverell Polocrosse Club Grounds.
So I can have a chop at you. at the Inverell Swan Cup.